This year's recipient of the Jaffrey Chambers Citizen of the Year Award needs absolutely no introduction. He is a fixture. In the language of legalese, a fixture is something securely and permanently attached to a structure. For the past 60 years, our Citizen of the Year, Bernie Hampsey, has been a fixture, securely and permanently attached to Jaffrey, touching the life of virtually every person in our community. As a new attorney, Bernie opened his law office on Goodnoe Street, which as a child I walked past every day on my way to Jaffrey Grade School. Eventually, he became the town's district court judge, first holding court in the side room of the then town office, now the police station, then moving to the Jaffrey Women's Club, Cutler Memorial Building, followed by another move to an abandoned factory on Turnpike Road, now the home of Victory High School. People could say he was on the move, and indeed he was, being elevated to the Superior Court, which appointment resulted in his stepping down as Jaffrey Town Moderator, a position he had held for many years. Bernie served the citizens of Jaffrey and the state of New Hampshire as a justice in New Hampshire's judicial branch for almost 40 years, until mandatory retirement at the age of 70. But he retired from the bench, not from the community. Following his retirement, Bernie has continued his distinguished career of public service, serving as a board member and volunteer with numerous nonprofit organizations, such as the Jaffrey Civic Center, the Cathedral of the Pines, and as an active member of St. Patrick's Parish, and on the board of the Newfoundland Pony Conservancy, among others, too numerous to mention. If you would, please indulge me for a few moments while I share some personal reflections. Bernie was my parents' attorney and friend, more importantly. I can tell you this, my parents were very fond of Bernie, and in this regard, my parents were not alone. I can say with great confidence that as a lawyer, a judge, volunteer, and member of the community, Bernie has helped and supported countless individuals, families, and business owners through good times and not so good times. Bernie will tell you that he taught me everything I know. Fake news. I did learn a little while in law school, but Bernie was helpful in my getting there. He supplied letters of recommendation on my behalf to every educational institution to which I applied growing up. He encouraged me to pursue my dream of becoming an attorney, and together with his gracious and lovely wife, Jean, warmly welcomed me when I returned to my hometown to practice law 41 years ago. Although, in keeping with Bernie's rather unique sense of humor, he sent me a sympathy card upon receiving the news that I had passed the New Hampshire bar exam. Bernie has been an advisor, mentor, and most importantly, a dear and valued friend since my childhood, all of which are blessings for which I will always remain grateful. So it is with unparalleled pleasure that I have been given the great honor of presenting this year's Citizen of the Year Award to our very own Bernie, the Honorable Bernard J. Hampsey, Jr. Now, I have to confess that we had been prepared to give Bernie a pair of knitted mittens, but another Bernie already stole all the memes. Sorry, you'll just have to settle for this.
Well, thank you very much, Jeff. Do I have to return this, or I can the mittens would be a good idea, but thank you very much for the bowl and for your remarks. They were very kind, not necessarily accurate, but very kind, and I appreciate your willingness to do this. And I salute you as last year's awardee, and thank you for your friendship over the years. If I'd written a few more letters, you might have gone a little further, but I did the best I could to help you, only because I loved your parents. But anyhow, I accept this in the spirit in which it is given, and I thank you, and I thank the Jaffrey Chamber for making this selection. Thank you. I'll put this down if I might, and take this off. All right. I'd like to, as I said, thank Jeff Crocker, who's been my good friend and the last year's recipient of this award, for his kind remarks, as I said, and to thank Cindy Burgess, her committee, and the Jaffrey Chamber itself for selecting me for this great honor this year. Now let me tell you a little story about the honor and who has it and why I'm so grateful to receive it this year. I have a lot of good friends in this area, but none more than the two fellows who, along with me, are known as the Three Amigos. That's Joe Manning, who will shortly turn 95, World War II veteran, was in the Pacific area fighting the Japanese way, way back. And then there's a lad named Bill Driscoll, who was in Korea, and due to circumstances completely within his control, he avoided armed conflict, which was a blessing for the country and helped us win the war about a year or so earlier. Well, those two fine persons, along with me, are known as the Three Amigos. We've appeared as that. We've spoken to the Jaffrey Historical Society, but they have one thing I don't have, and that is this award until today. Both Bill Driscoll and Joe Manning won Citizen of the Year award. In the last several years, I was at each of the dinners, so I know that it's true, and I witnessed it happen. And I thought maybe someday I would, but maybe not. But a curious thing happened following a sad thing. My good friend Bill Driscoll, who I loved, and he loved me, we talked every day. We went out to lunch all the time. He always said to me, "Bernie, I'm only as far away as your phone." And I said, "Well, I hate to pay for the call, but I'll do the best I can." So he passed away unexpectedly, a shock to all of us, in late November of last year. Now time passes, and along comes the Chamber's duties to get things for this year. Why did Bernie Hampsey get this award this particular year following the untimely death of my wonderful friend Bill Driscoll? I believe, and I believe that he has something to do with the selection. From on high, he had some influence on the committee, and I thank him for it. Of course, I owe him money, and I think probably he wanted to be sure that I paid his estate the money I owe him for all the gas he spent on the luncheons we went out to. I never paid him a dime, and there's a considerable debt there. So I think he wants to be sure that I do deal with that obligation, which is greater than I can admit on the record, so to speak. So I thank Bill Driscoll for any influence he had on the selection, and I now feel that I can continue to be remembered as a member of the Three Amigos, because now I have received this award under these circumstances this year. It's a virtual meeting, but I'm glad that the Chamber stuck by its roots and its heritage and its custom and held this meeting. You don't want to let a year go by because you don't know what the future holds. And so I think they did the right thing, and I'm grateful that to have won this award. But let me tell you what I attribute my success to. I've done a lot of things, and sure, I've been a judge for almost 40 years, but what I've done in life and what I've given back has occurred because of the woman that I'm married to. I'm referring to Jean Letourneau Hampsey, who I married in 1960. So 60 years have gone by. That's 60 years of devotion. Jean, unfortunately, came down with Alzheimer's in 2006 or 2007, and she has been receiving excellent care since 2014 over at Summerhill, where she is a memory resident. I'm very confident in the treatment that she receives, and I miss seeing her. I was going over there 4 and 5 days a week until COVID came, and it just shut everything down. And that's sad, and I'm looking forward to when I can see her next. But regardless of the sad circumstances and turn of events, I remain ever devoted to my lovely wife, Jean. She is a native, as I said. I'm sort of a mere interloper. I've only been here since 1961. I don't think that counts for much. So, but at some point, I'll maybe achieve the status as sort of a quasi-native. But what I've done to help others, I've done from my heart. But I want to tell you this, and this is the truth. I've been motivated, inspired, encouraged, and supported all along the way by the love of my wife. I couldn't have done things without that inspiration, and I can feel it in my body. I can feel it when I'm alone. I can feel her love, and I think she can feel mine. When I've had a few chances to visit with her on FaceTime, I think she recognized me, and this was as recently as a couple months ago until COVID got much worse. And several times when we were visiting and I was telling her what I thought of her and how much I loved her, she would very slowly say, with great sincerity, looking me right in the eyes, "I love you." So my regret is that the person who has inspired me all these years to try to do the good work that needs to be done, the person who believed, as I did, that to those to whom much is given, much is expected, that is, if you have the ability and you have the time. No, I should say you make the time and you create the interest and you reach out. You don't wait for somebody to tap you on the shoulder. You tap them on the shoulder and say, "Can I help you?" But all of this has happened because of the inspiration I have received constantly from my dear wife. And even though circumstances have drastically changed, I remain as devoted to her as I was when we got married in August of 1960. She will always be the great love of my life, and I will always be indebted to her for the love that we had and we shared, and for our devotion, which continues to this day. A change of circumstances does not interrupt that devotion. So I just want to close by thanking Jean again. And I do have one regret, is that at this moment, as I receive this great honor from the Chamber, Citizen of the Year for 2020, my regret is that my beautiful wife, Jean, is unable to stand at my side, to be with me and holding my hand. Thank you very much.